All right. Hello there, and welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chaz. This is a very special episode. I am Tabitha Brown. This is my husband.
I'm Chaz, what's up?
And today we got my daddy. Tell me your name, daddy.
Bro Thomas.
Very good. Bring the beat in.
Fridays, Fridays, Fridays with Tab and Chaz.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Fridays, Fridays, Friday with Tab and Chaz.
Before we get started,
Hey, why were you hating on the beat with my daddy?
ain't nobody hating on no
Man,
beat.
because my daddy got the bravado.
No, your daddy came in and took my part. He tried
What's
to
your part?
he tried to jump in there and go straight to lead. Friday.
Babe, don't do that. This is a special episode.
Hey,
It's all
special
good
about
though.
this,
I'm making
ain't
you, hey, it's all good because I'm making you look good.
Yeah,
You know,
Did you hear that?
ain't nobody came to see you, Otis. He jumped right out there and went straight to the church
babe,
choir.
don't do that.
He
You
went
know,
straight to the church choir. You're supposed to harmonize. Your daddy jumped
Listen.
right in.
my daddy can do whatever he like. All right, if that's how he want to sing the song.
Friday.
Daddy, how you feeling, Daddy?
I feel great.
How you feel about this son-in-law of yours right here cutting up?
The best one he
Love him. The best son-in-law I got.
The only one.
Matter of fact, the only one I got. But I love the guy though. He's a great man, great father,
Yeah.
great husband. Yeah, I love him.
I just ain't good at leading the song, huh?
But you know, he'll do.
So today, I wanted to have my daddy on because, you know, we've shared with y'all, you know, our story, how we got together, how long we've been together and all that stuff. So I wanted to get my daddy's take on when me and Chaz first started dating. Daddy, what do you remember? It's been 25 years, but what do you remember?
Nothing.
What you mean?
I just can't remember. I don't know because I done got to the age that I am now, but I can't recall the time that you and him were together. I knew that you were seeing someone, but I didn't know this young man right here.
So you mean when it was early on?
Early on, only time I really got well acquainted with Chance is when y'all got married and moved to Greensboro.
Well,
Yeah.
but we was already living in Greensboro before we got married.
Yeah, I know. But y'all got married in Greensboro.
Yeah.
Before y'all got married. But I just can't recall the times that Chance came to the house, maybe went down in the basement, watched TV, and say, man, if he did when I wasn't there.
Well, then you think about during school we weren't together then. So me and Chance were together first time in 8th grade. Remember he used to try to sneak over there to Frankie's house and come and spend the night at Frankie's house and see me outside.
What you know good?
Yeah. And you caught on to that and came outside and was like, no, what
Nah,
you said, what it is.
What it is, yeah.
My daddy came outside and told she what it is.
But it's funny that I don't remember that.
Well, we was in 8th grade.
Yeah, that was 30 years ago.
Or longer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about 30 years
it was a
ago.
long time ago.
Yeah.
But when we first came, me and Chance first started, you know, dating. We was 19 when the second time, or 18. Yeah, we had just turned 19. And so, you know, I was always very particular with what you thought about the boys that I dated. And so anytime that I would date a guy, you know, in high school, I bring him home to meet Daddy. If Daddy didn't like him, I'd be like, hey, this is not gonna work out. Cause I'm a Daddy's girl, and if Daddy didn't approve, I was like, I can't rock with you, right? So when me and Chance first started dating, I was like, I don't want to take him over here to the house. I don't even want to go over here too much because I don't want Daddy to say nothing that I don't want to hear. Because I was like, I really like Chance. I think he going to be the one, right? So that's why we didn't really come to the house that often. We was over at Tasha's house most of the time.
See, now the truth come out.
But you know, we was 19 over at Tasha's house playing cards.
Yeah.
Okay, we was playing cards in the late night. But then when I moved to California, and Chance ended up moving out there with me, so that letter that you gave me, that I wrote you,
Yeah.
and me and Chance read that letter, but you was upset with me because me and Chance was shacking. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote you that letter.
Mm-hmm.
And Chance, when I read it, Chance got right emotional in remembering that. So when I was in Miami last week with my daddy gave me this letter that I wrote to him in 1999. It was right after Christmas of '98. Me and Chance was living together in Laguna.
Mm-hmm.
And my daddy was not happy about it. So
I remember this letter.
I remember, as soon as he gave it to me, I remember the paper.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like, oh man, this is almost 25 years ago, right?
I remember.
And so, stuck between love and a hard place. I said, dear Daddy, before you read this, please realize that it is coming straight from my heart. That I know I have hurt you in more ways than one, and I'm truly sorry. If I could make it right in the flash of a light, I would, just to make you happy, but I can't. I just hope and pray that one day you'll forgive me and that we'll have the relationship we once had. Daddy, I know that you have done more for me than you've done for yourself, and don't think that I've taken any of it for granted. I cherish each and everything you've ever done for me, and I can't thank you enough. I love you, and I miss you, and I wish I could just see you to be able to hug you, but I can't. But soon I will, I promise. Again, I know that I am living a sinful life. Shacking. With this one right here, okay? And I now realize that blessings don't happen the same, but that's just the consequence that I have to take because I love him so much, okay? I know that I can do better, and I will. Daddy, there's just one thing I ask of you, and that is please don't lose faith in me and don't give up on me. I promise one day I will make you proud. I never ever meant to hurt you in any way because that's just like hurting myself 1,000 times more. There's been many days and nights that I've cried myself to sleep. Remember those days? Mm-hmm. Because I knew how much that I hurt you. And there's not a day that goes by that I forget to pray for forgiveness. Because, you know, you're shacking. Okay? Pray for forgiveness from the Lord and from you. And I always pray that God takes the pain I've caused you away. Daddy, I'm so sorry. I never thought growing up would be so hard. But I guess I wasn't supposed to know. Well, I also know this was our first holiday not being together, and it really hurt. But I pray that I will never have to miss another holiday without my family. I really look forward to seeing you again, and when I do, maybe I'll be rich and famous. Hello there. What did you remember about that time? Do you remember that time?
That time when y'all was staying together.
Uh-huh.
And moved to California.
Moved to California. The time that I remember is when y'all came back home.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah, we had got the apartment in Greensboro.
Right. Y'all come to the house up in the driveway, you know, that's when I think that's when I told you I didn't like it because you let me down. Mm-hmm. You remember that in the driveway? Changed you remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. That's always a memory I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I said, well, you're gonna have to live your life. I'm not disowning you, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
But,
and then I ended up getting pregnant with Choice before we got married. Mm-hmm. And do you remember what you, well, we had already got engaged. Remember, we got engaged right before. You know, Chance already gave me a ring. Mm-hmm. But do you remember, I remember this, do you remember when Daddy said, what's your intention with my daughter before we even got engaged?
Yeah.
Or was it that same day that did
Nah,
he
it
was
was
disappointed?
No. So that the intent conversation happened a couple of times, right? So he don't remember, but I remember I came over to the house twice prior to California when you was like, man, my daddy is starting to get upset with me. You got to go meet my daddy, right? And I'm like, I remember I was thinking, I ain't never said I didn't want to meet your daddy. You the one, we got into a little spat.
I was trying to protect you.
Right, so yeah, and she pretty much said that in her own way, and I'm young and don't really understand it, so we kind of had a spat. But I remember the first conversation I had with your daddy, and it was all talking about what are you doing with yourself, and I couldn't answer the question. And then I just told him, I remember I was talking around the Navy, I was talking around Norfolk State. I was at St. Aug, and I didn't have, all I knew to do was to set a goal, but when he was asking me, what are your steps to accomplishing the goal? You can talk a whole lot, is what he used to say, but what are the actions that you're gonna take? Right. And then that conversation led on to, now how does my daughter play a role in that? And in looking back on it, I kind of look back on it and understand it now as a father, where it's like, look, how does your plan and your love conflict with my daughter, right? The two conversations, they're memorable to me because it was the first time that I remember any man having a conversation with me, not talking to me, but forcing me to have a conversation. And I remember I would always get emotional, and he would be, so we were sitting on in the carport at your house you live in now, and he would always, I would get emotional and I would get offended because I'm getting emotional, right? Because I was dealing with a whole lot. I had never had, like I said, I never had a man talk to me in that fashion. And it wasn't what I expected. Because when you came to me, it's like, we gotta go see my daddy. I envision what the movies tell you and all that. Some man gonna be over here cleaning a gun or some old crap like that. I'm just being honest with you. That's what I was like, I'm built for that. What's happening? Right? I was going in with a challenging, I ain't scared of you. But when I got there, it was more of a responsible conversation, and it was more of a loving, concerning, like, hey, who are you? Not like, who you? You understand? You feel the difference? It was like, who are you? Who is this young man that's spending so much time with my daughter? She's over at your house all the time, right at this crucial moment in her life, where she just graduated high school, she came home from school, she's trying to figure out her plan. And if you the plan, what's the plan? And you ain't really saying nothing, right? So I remember him talking to me and trying to help me, guide me to see that you need to have some action to these plans, and getting emotional, a certain kind of emotion that I had never felt before in the presence of a man. I was raised by my mama. So anytime, I just was always in conflict with men. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you an alpha, I'm an alpha. You can't tell me nothing, what's happening? What we gonna do? Like, know, but then to encounter somebody who was like, nah, I need you to understand this and see this. I remember that. And then I also remember taking that with me to California, and when you were saying, we can call my daddy, it was those conversations that I was like, nah, I'm starting to understand what he was saying and what he was, why. You can't call your daddy, we gotta figure this out, right? We gotta figure this out. We made this bed, we gotta figure it out. So when we came back and we was having that conversation, like I said, that conversation in the driveway is always one that comes to mind. I understood him, and I was disappointed that we so quickly had created more doubt for him. But what I was upset about, and I didn't understand then, was him with you, right? Until I had daughters. And I'm like, damn, I can only imagine what that man felt with his daughter coming home with this dude who got a baby, right? That's something else that I'm gonna remind y'all of. I had a baby, had a reputation that preceded me in Eden. And now I done moved to California at 19 with his daughter, and now, not even a year out there, we are already back home. And now we talking about getting married. And me and him done had these conversations, and I'm still somewhat a stranger to him. So I remember him, you know what I mean? I remember him, and I've held on to him throughout life because they've been
Those conversations.
Yeah. Those conversations have been staples, you know, things that I can refer back to when me and you are in bad spaces in our relationship. You know what I mean? I can go back to those conversations, and even up until the day we was getting ready to get married. Well, let me go back. I kind of got off track there. I do remember another conversation where he was talking about intent. And it was after you had got pregnant. And he was like, what are y'all doing? Right? You know, to me, what do you intend on doing? And this was when I thought we was doing good, right? When I'm like, okay, we doing good. I'm working.
Yeah.
We ain't having to ask him for nothing. He, and I wouldn't allow us to be like I had seen so many other people keep tapping into our parents and asking. I was always taken from the first conversation me and him had. Man, I don't want to burn no bridges. When I need you, I'm gonna come to you. But if I don't need you and I can work it out, I'm gonna work it out. And so I'm thinking we're in a good space. And he was talking to me about marriage. And I'm like, man, why? If we're doing good. That was always my thinking. You know what I mean? Like, what it really came down to is I didn't like what I saw marriage being. And he was pretty much telling me or asking me to see if you already living like married people, why ain't y'all married? Are you looking for an exit when you done did this with my daughter? Right? Like you can come so far with my daughter. What is your intent? And I'm getting offended by it because I just now had a daughter. Now he got two of them, right? And he didn't and he's been married, right? So I got it, but it still did not move me to want to get married, you know, as they've seen in other episodes.
But he had already gave me a ring.
Yeah, I had already given a ring.
Right, so he'd already gave me a ring. Then I got, pregnant with Choice, and it was kind of like, well, we didn't get married. Like, it don't matter.
Yeah.
So then it became, I think, y'all probably had conversations that I didn't know about.
We had several conversations. I remember a lot of conversations that we had where it was, well, I'm very appreciative for the conversations. It's one conversation that I've shared with I think I shared it on here before. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how I think we was going to church or we had just left church. And he kind of picked up on pulled me outside and, what's wrong with you? I said, ain't nothing wrong with me. And I was something going on with you, something going on with you.
We had arguments.
Yeah, it was something he kind of picked up on. And I'm like, to my wife's dad, right? I'm like, hey, they say, ain't nothing wrong, man. Trying to, he
don't want to talk bad about me to my daddy.
That's right. And I remember Tad came to the screen door, and he sent her back in the house. He's like, I'm going back in the house. I'm talking to Tad.
Probably rolled my eyes.
Yeah. He told her to go back in the house. Mm-hmm. And
do you remember this, Daddy?
Yeah.
His joke said, and I'm talking around it, because it's real, it's man stuff.
Man conversation.
Yeah. And I'm feeling a little uncomfortable.
Man.
I'm feeling uncomfortable about it. I'm like, man, this is my father-in-law, man, this is his daughter. And he pretty much broke it down to me. And that's when he made the statement about being happy.
Do you remember the statement then?
Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Mm-hmm. And I took that. And I applied that
You still apply.
I still apply it to this day. I get at it when I'm giving advice, which I don't like to give a whole lot of marital advice. I always go back to that. I always tell people like, look, man, you want to be right or you want to be happy.
And mostly it's because I'm mostly right all the time anyway. So
Let me tap in on this conversation. Do you remember that conversation that you and I had when you came from Greensboro to talk to me? You said you don't know what's going to happen when you in town. You remember that? We sat in the kitchen, at the kitchen table. I mean, you were.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Because you were thinking that. Yeah, I don't know what tap producing. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
you thought I was about to get gone on you
Thought
back?
you about to get going.
And you remember what I told you that night?
What was
I
it?
told you just go back home.
Yeah.
Y'all sit down and y'all throw the cards up on the table and pick up only one that you need.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep, I do. I do. That's when I had did something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. He was.
I do remember that.
He was very upset.
Yeah. Hey, and he told me in a nice way too.
Yeah. You know,
He told me in a nice way. That's my daughter.
he had tears in his eyes. I mean, he was, you know, and I was trying to really comfort him in that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think he was hurt at that time, because he felt like things were going to go another way.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he hung in there.
I knew. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I knew I had a lifeline. I had a lifeline. I had built up my IOUs, right? And I knew that still knew from the time that we had got together that whatever her daddy was gonna have a big influence.
Not trying to use my daddy to make sure you secure the tab.
Boy, let me hit this 1001 real quick.
We hit this back road to go talk.
Yeah.
Let me hit this
Go
back
talk
road,
to
man.
Dad.
Let me get to this man before. Let me get to him before she do. Cause I'll get down here real quick, boy. I'm gone.
Listen, because Mama was always Team Chance, so
Yeah.
my mama it didn't matter what Chance did. Oh, he didn't mean it. He all right. So I had blocked Mama out sometimes because Chance could jump off the roof of the building.
I couldn't do no
And
wrong.
she'd be like, he can fly. That baby can fly. You let him jump off that building. But she went over there.
I do. I forgot about that. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that. And I remember him, giving me some of his, telling me about some of his personal stuff, some of his marital stuff, and I appreciated it.
Made you feel human, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, it was like, because I had heard Tab put her dad on a pedestal, heard the entire family put him up. He's the one that did something with himself, right? So for him to share and be transparent in terms of marriage, and then you got also, this is something else you got to take into account. I had never been a church going person. He was all involved in the church. When he got, you know what I mean? The type of person that you see others admiring. So when we had that conversation, it was like, okay, look, let me tell you something about me. This is what I've experienced. This is what all these years of living have taught me. I was able to walk away from that very appreciative. And, another thing that I remember too, that where growth, I remember he told me, what did he say at the wedding?
Oh.
Everything was ready to happen. This is what I remember. Everybody was moving. It was chaotic. The marriage, people getting ready and everything. Hey, come here. I need to talk to you. Come here. Y'all go and get out of here. That's all my groomsmen and everything. Everybody's in there. He's gonna put everybody out. Hey, come here. I'm thinking, now we get along good. Everything's smooth. We about to get married and everything. I'm thinking, I got so many other things on my mind. He put it out them out the room every day. He said, come here. And how you say?
He said, I told him, I just want you to remember one thing.
Yeah.
She already been raised.
She already got a daddy.
Yeah.
And I said,
He done already raised me good.
Yeah.
Ain't your job to raise me.
hey, look. I mean, I thought I sat there, I said, what you talking about, man? And then that's when AJR, that's when he, with these big old
Working hands.
vice grip, death grip hands, grabbed my hand and said, you're about to squeeze my whole hand to damn,
You better stop talking about my daddy.
and said it again. And looked at me and got serious with me. And then he said, you have my blessing.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
that was it. And then he said, you ready? And then I'm telling you, it seemed like that's when all the pressure. Then I was like, whew. I wasn't even nervous. Now I'm nervous.
Man, you nervous now. Daddy said, now I release it to you.
Now,
take
hey,
care of
listen.
her.
Hey, now she yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This what you asked for. I want to say, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, man. Let me go back on.
How does that feel, Daddy, when you have your daughters and I'm your baby girl, to release them to their husband, as a father? How did that feel?
How did it feel?
Yeah.
I guess I felt like that after I had said what I said, the conversation that Chance and I had, that he's gonna be a protective father and a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
After I had said what I had to say, I did not worry anymore. I just wanted things to work out between you and him, and look what happened.
Yeah.
All I did is planted the seed.
Mm.
And when the seed started blooming, Chance was right there to keep it going.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to switch speeds just a little bit because we're talking about as parents. Now, I left home from high school. I left and went to Miami, right? And I know I shared this story. My daddy took me to school, and my daddy picked me up when I called and told him, I'm down here wasting your money, Daddy. You remember that?
Yeah.
Right?
On Wednesday night.
On a Wednesday night, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So then I came back and decided I wanted to move to California, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I remember, especially because now we're dealing with this with Choice wanting to, move, and my anxiety as a parent, I'm like, Lord, it's my baby, but she also about to be 22, got to live her life and find her own way. How did you ain't never try to talk me out of moving the first time to California or the second time. You just always said to me, you know what you're doing. You got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And if I said yes, you said all right.
Mm-hmm.
How did you not, we ain't had no cell phones. This was back in the day when I had to use calling cards to call you, so I wasn't able to call every day. We was writing letters. I was writing letters to you.
Mm-hmm.
How did you deal with letting go and being all right with it?
Because we had raised you, okay? You had become a young lady and wanted to be responsible.
Mm.
So we had did that part. And we had to let it go. Because in the back of your head, your mind was made up to go. And I couldn't stop you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you had a partner hanging on your side, and apparently he seen something, so he wanted to grow with you.
Mm.
So look what happened. When y'all joined the dots, you didn't have no dot over here, you didn't have no dot over there. And you had dots right in a row, and you had to connect them. And that connection made this, you know, and it made you and his life both good. It made it real good.
So you,
And I'm proud of it too. And I felt like if I'd have stepped in and said, no, you can't do this, you're going to do it anyway because your mind was made up.
yeah.
You know, I couldn't stop that. So,
It was just always very, I think about it now more because, like I said, with Choice being the age she is and wanting to move, I think about it more because of my own anxiety. And I be like, Lord, how in the world did mom and daddy just be like, all right, go ahead, girl, we'll see you. And y'all just seemed like y'all ain't had no worry in the world. And I know I was
Well,
more independent, I feel like,
it
but
was. I need to say this. I'm gonna tell you. I think a number of things. I think it's two things that are not being said. Mm-hmm. He said it about the raising aspect and believing in what they had put into you. But the other factor is trusting God. He's always been faith driven. Mm-hmm. Your mom was to the point where it was, with a person like me who's not raised in that, it was mind blowing, right? When somebody can say that they believe in God, right? They can say it all day, but actions speak louder than words. And there takes it as an aspect. There's a portion of that to where you have to be able to put those two and two together.
Right.
Here you are, 19 years old, and your child is moving 3,300 miles across the country, right?
You gotta have
Writing
a
you
good
letters,
faith system.
right? You got to have a good faith system. So I think that needs to be mentioned. And then too, you got to take into account as it pertains to chores. The world was different then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The world was we're talking about it like it was yesterday, but this was 25 years ago. The world was different, so it gave you, your anxieties weren't the same, as I know mine are with Choice. However, because I've learned to believe in what he's saying, because I had a good example, I don't have the same anxieties as I would have thought. You know what I mean? I do concern about Choice moving, and not being right around the corner where I can get to her.
Yeah.
But due to the blessing of God and the patience of what your dad just said, allowing it to happen, we have been blessed in a way that she may not necessarily be right around the corner, but because of the blessing that God has given us, we can get to her if we need to.
Yeah.
And we can help her in a way that they weren't able to help us.
Yeah.
But also, we have raised her.
Yeah.
To your point, I always remember that, we got to trust that we've done our job in raising. So I do remember that. That's always in the back of my head. And that's what I have to lean on. I be like, Lord, I know her foundation is right, but Lord, I want her to be touchable. But I get it. So, but yeah, I had to ask that just to see.
but the main thing, see, y'all been true parents, not friends to your kids.
Yeah. Got to be friends.
You can't be friends.
Later.
Yeah, you can't be friends with your kids. You got to be a parent, and y'all did that. And y'all was very disciplined in raising both of your kids. And I know Choice was one of them kind that you couldn't guess her.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a different animal.
Yeah. She's a lion, honey. She a Leo.
I remember chanting at me one day at that first house y'all had. Scared Tab will kill Choice.
Oh, the high school years, boy, they about to take me out of here.
Chad said when Tab, you get this one Choice, he said, I just go to the other room.
Look, I thought one of us wasn't gonna make it during the high school years. Either I'm going to be out of here or Troy's gonna be out of here. One of us ain't gonna make it.
but it had to take to do that though. To make them realize that I have parents that care. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't have did that.
Yeah, you're right.
You wouldn't have did it.
And we have learned
You have to go on, but
so much. And I think that's also how, we had to parent first. But now me and Choice are like best friends.
yeah.
Because now she's a woman,
Yeah.
a young woman. But now our friendship, the bond that we have is so tight. But it was definitely a tough journey to get through. I often be wish I'd be like, dang, I sure wish Mama was here for me to just ask her like, Mama, did I get your nerves tore up the way that I want to apologize to you? But
I mean, you was a good child growing up.
I always tried to be.
Yeah, you did good. You had some faults, but they weren't.
Who don't?
They weren't real bad.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people got skeletons in the closet,
Yeah.
and they're still there.
Yeah. Keep them in there, the ones
Yeah.
you don't want to hurt
Right.
your mom and your daddy
there.
feelings.
Right.
Listen,
But
I'm a daddy's girl. Listen, I'm such a daddy's girl. Let me tell you, me and Chance had been living together for 2.5 years before I got pregnant with you. I called my daddy to tell my dad I was pregnant. And daddy said, how? You remember that, daddy?
yeah.
I said, daddy, what you mean? He said, well, I mean, I knew y'all was staying together, but I didn't think, y'all was, I said, well, yeah, daddy, we pregnant. Like, we didn't did it. But that's just how my daddy seen me, right? I remember telling you, I said, listen, my daddy, I am an angel to my daddy.
I thought to myself, don't make no damn sense.
But daddy said, how? I said, listen, I did like this to the phone. I was like, how? But that's just, how our relationship is, It's another thing that I wanted to talk about. And you've said this sometime, you said, sometimes you thought I might have been a little lost, right? And I'm thinking many times it has happened when I worked at Macy's and also when I was working at my other 9-to-5 job. And you would call and I would answer and you didn't know it was me. Remember them times? And you would think it was a white woman answering the phone.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I would always cover my accent and you'd be like, girl, I didn't know that was you.
Yeah.
What was in your, what was you thinking about me then?
I seen something was going to happen in life with you because you had that motivational skill to be able to change, your voice, and me not knowing it. But it was always like motivational to you. And I told your mama, I said, this girl can change to another color. Because the way she would change, change your whole expression, whole voice. I said, okay. But I never did put it together that, that she wanted to be an actor until you went to, where you go to Winston-Salem, sitting in that little small theater art.
Yeah, during the summertime.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to do it because, I did theater and stuff in school, but you didn't know I was so serious about it until high school. But now I'm free though. But still can change my voice when needed for a character.
Yeah, I noticed that. You're free.
Right.
But here's my thing. As long as you trust in God and keep your faith and keep that relationship with the Lord. Everybody can have religion, but if you ain't got no faith and you ain't got no relationship with the Lord, you don't have nothing.
This is very true.
I don't care what kind of, how much religion you got. Religion is something you just do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, every day. But having a relationship with the Lord is very, very serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
And
this was something else I have noticed even with Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He talked more about the Lord than I ever seen him talk about.
And you see how the Lord can still be working on folks.
Yeah. I mean,
Get 'em.
he talks about the Lord a lot.
Yeah.
He always talking about how the Lord have blessed him and his wife. Always.
Yeah.
You know. And riding down the street the other day, we were going about 120 miles an hour. With
No, you won't driving that fast with my dad in the car.
I'm just talking.
You know you did it a lot.
You know, he was talking about the Lord at that time. And I'm saying to myself, I never did say nothing to him, but I'm thinking to myself, this man have really, really changed.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the stuff they have, it haven't went to his head. He's still the same. He changed some, but none of the stuff have went to his head at all. He don't brag about it or nothing.
I think it comes to, he's saying, so I think it comes to from going back to when we was 19 and you and the entire family allowing us to come into our own, right? Where I could learn that the way that you have your relationship with God is not necessarily the way that I have to have my own.
Right.
So over time, and then too, reflecting on everything that we make light of, and we make light of. We might laugh, or we might even go down memory lane and cry or whatever. But I really pay attention to a lot of it, and then ask myself, and be honest with myself, was that me? There's nothing that I can say or that we can pinpoint that we did. Yeah, we put some work in. You know, you gotta continue to move. But there's a lot of things that I can't say that I had a hand in that I was blessed from. That's why. That's where my faith now. That's where it all comes. That's where it all comes from. So it's a combination of things. It's a melting pot of things that get me to the point to where it's grace, it's your grace and patience, it's Tab's grace and patience, it's a combination of things and events that have gotten me to the place where I believe very strongly that there's a higher power working, and you dumb if you try to take the credit for it.
Right.
Right, so that's what gets me to this place. I feel obligated to, you know, I keep hearing this in the back of my head, flowers, like, because you don't often get the time, and we don't know when the next time will be. But I'm just sitting here as we go down memory lane. I'm thinking about this thought of Reedsville when my car broke down, and you took me over there to see your mechanic, and he had a line of credit. He had a line of credit
Beside Pete.
Beside Pete's.
What was that?
I had that MPV.
Yeah.
And we had got ourselves back from California. We was surviving on our own. And he took me over there and he told the man, Pete, put it on my line of credit. And I stopped him. I said, no. I said, no. And he was like, Ted, why won't you let me help you? And I told him, I said, I got it, I'm gonna figure it out. So what I was doing was I was still trying to prove to him that I was able, because I had seen I was trying to prove to him that I was able to take care of his daughter, And my ego was kicking in at this point. Now we got chores and we got, different kind of things. And he pulled me to the side and he said, you don't have to do that no more. I know you love my daughter. I know you're going to let me help you. I thank you for seeing me. The conversations in the beginning, when I was 19, for hearing me and taking the time to talk to me.
It's all right, bro. It's all right.
For even with the bad moments, I never felt any division where you feel like, man, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand and say, hey, I'm choosing my daughter. But calling and checking up on me, not on us, on me. For saying, you're doing a good job. I remember every time. I just wanted to say thank you. Now, because you never know what tomorrow brings.
True.
I appreciate you. I love you. I don't want another day to go by and, what I've learned and what I remember you saying is tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
And God, I think God wanted me to tell you that. I kept hearing saying, give him his flowers now. This is your moment.
That's right.
Don't wait. Tell him now. So, in front of the world, in front of my wife, I love you. I appreciate you.
Works both ways too, brother. Works both ways.
That's very good. Not just, I be in here. I'm in here floating to be able to, with the exception of my son not being here, in the presence of my favorite men. I'm in the middle of greatness, right, in human form. My two best friends, my husband and my daddy. And this is a moment that is priceless, right? You can't pay for it.
No.
You can't borrow it. It is literally just a moment that God has ordained in this moment for me. I'm just so grateful. Me and my dad, we talk all the time. Chan's always joking about how often that I talk to my dad.
Every day. 25 years.
And-
Listen, I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. Like, man, every day. Now, if they go one day without talking to each other, I can feel the vibe in the room.
Well, because, and more recently, because I have been working and traveling so much, we don't get to talk every single day. And if, a day or two will go by and Daddy say, I'm about to come look for you now. Or he'll say, I know you're busy, so I waited for you to call me. And he, trying to respect my schedule or figure it out. But that's me being blessed to have an amazing daddy. Not just to me, but as you see, to my husband as a father-in-law and to our children as Papa. I've been so blessed. I've been so blessed. My dad is my biggest supporter. Always has been. Even when I was younger, he used to tell me, I used to tell Daddy I want to be an actor, Daddy. He said, I can't help you get there. I don't know nothing about it, but I can just tell you to do it, and I believed in you, and I'm here for you. But, you know, he would always tell me, I just don't know nothing about that. But he never once did he ever try to shoot my dreams down or discourage me from them. He always gave me a word of encouragement, still do to this day. And now, as a woman, I get to, you know, really be my daddy's friend, and we have good conversations and grown-up conversations, and it's a great journey that we've been on, and so I'm just grateful in this moment. Got anything else you want to say, Daddy?
You know, just like Chance was just saying, the last thing he said, tomorrow's not promised. And I always say this. I tell people this all the time. Tomorrow is a mystery. Yesterday is gone. What's important is right now, just right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first day of the rest of our life, right here and now.
That's right.
All I had to say.
Very good.
Well, you know, and I'm not trying to exclude anyone. You know, I have 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
This is my baby. And then I got my first baby.
Right. Tasha was eating that banana sandwich the other day. Tasha, wait, come in here real quick. So before we finish, because Tasha, y'all know the story when me and Chance broke up in 8th grade that he's still bitter about. Because I told y'all my sister told me it's gonna be a lot of boys in high school. And she told me I ain't want no boyfriend going to high school. This Tasha right here, this my sister who. Can you see her in the camera, JR? She's short anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh Lord,
It's about coming for me.
it worth the change.
can you hear her sound and stuff? Okay, too.
She'd have to lean a little closer to you.
Oh, so you lean down.
Your mic.
Yeah.
Get off me.
You get off me.
So this is Tasha. Tasha, do you remember when you told me that I should break up with Chance?
Yeah, because there's a whole lot more that she was going to experience out there. You don't need to be going with him.
So that major sister almost missed out on that blessing.
You know, that's funny, because that's the same thing I told her. You remember that? Same thing I told her.
So this started out with you then. There's a whole lot going on over at high school. Got over there, ain't nothing over there.
You're right. It sure won't. It won't know. And I tried to get back with you, but you wouldn't talk to me, so oh well. But yeah, so this my sister Tasha.
Problem.
And look, eating that banana sandwich.
You just finished eating another banana sandwich. Listen, that good and country, okay, with mayonnaise and salt and pepper.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, and for those of y'all who have seen pictures and know, you know, this is my mama twin. They just alike, look just like mama. So she keep mama's memory alive all
She
the
ain't
time.
sweet like her mama though.
Don't do that now.
You ain't.
I'm always sweet. You
No,
get to cut you up, Like right there.
Your mama, I was your mama. Listen, she was a fan of Chance. You tried to get rid of me.
You was young. We was young, babe. You were 14, babe. That was 30 years ago.
My mama said you had to learn your mistakes. Let him be.
So you want to say the thing? You remember when me and Chance got married?
Yeah, I remember when y'all got married.
See how she said that? You hear that right there?
Did you give him any advice? You don't remember? No.
She too busy trying to get me over at the house and beat me and tongue.
That's what I'm about to
and give me
say.
drunk.
Now, mind you, when I told earlier, remember I said, Daddy said he never seen us at Chance at the house because we was at Tasha's house. Tasha's house was the card house, so we went over there to play tongue and spades.
And drink.
But so, Chance had never drank before. Never. Tasha got strict rules at her house. If you play tongue and you get caught when you go down, you used to have to take a shot.
And if you lose, you got to take a
And if
shot.
you lose. Chance, I tried to tell Chance, I said, hey, babe,
Took advantage of me.
my
I did not
sister,
take advantage. You said
I tried to warn
that
her.
you would be a winner.
I said, Chance, don't
You
talk
know how to
junk
play.
with
You knew
Tasha.
I didn't know how to play.
I said,
You
don't
know I
talk
ain't had no
junk
business drinking.
with Tasha because you gonna mess around and be drunk over Tasha's house. Nah, I can play cards, man. Shoot, I ain't scared of your sister. Man, and the shots that Tasha used to make you take was out of solo cups. Not little Debbie cups. Big red solo cups. So the Chance got caught.
Chad, don't get caught. We gotta
Baby got caught.
We gotta
what, 3
close this
times in a
episode
row?
out.
Yeah, you got caught.
we gotta close
He
this
was
episode.
done. Done. When I say he was done, I mean he was done.
She ain't about nothing.
Don't be like
See,
that.
see, I didn't know nothing about all this. They
Yeah,
playing
they-
cards
yeah.
and drinking and
I wouldn't.
And getting
You,
food.
you see who the instigators was, though,
It was
right?
your, that was
you
your,
see who the
that was
instigators
your big baby that did it. Your older,
You see who the
older
instigator
daughter,
was.
that was who it was.
See?
Yeah.
Now the truth come out.
I was innocent then.
Uh-uh,
I was just
Yeah.
over there trying to be with my big sister. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I could play cards, so I really never had to take the shot.
No, it was just chance.
Chance to come over there talking big
Talk,
jump.
talk so much. I said, I'm gonna fix you.
But God, I think they cheated me. I think
Well,
they
what
cheated.
happened the other night
I
in
think
San
that-
Diego? You got cheated with me
Chad, close
too?
the episode. Your
yeah,
sister.
You know what I'm saying?
You did.
Close the episode.
You
Chad.
lost again.
Get out the camera. You can leave now.
You did lose down in San Diego.
Hey, Tab. Get your sister out the camera.
Well, that's it, y'all. I just wanted to have my daddy here
on my
today
damn
and have us a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a good moment. So thank you for coming on today, Daddy, and
Very
Tasha
good.
popping in for a past
Very,
second.
very good.
Very good. And as I always say, because I got this from my daddy, until the next time, honey, y'all going
Be
about y'all
quiet,
business.
Tasha.
Have the most
camera can- I mean, the mic can hear you.
What's she talking about?
I don't know.
I'm trying to close us out.
Go ahead.
In my
sister.
daddy's
Do you-
way.
do it, sister.
You want to close it out, Daddy?
Go ahead.
All right. My daddy taught me this. Y'all going about y'all business. I added that part there. Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. We love y'all. God bless y'all. See you next time.
Get off me.
You don't.